Hey, Shalom Akim. Shalom, Shalom. Lahab Aquarium Shah Yashala. This is your brother Zakaria Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, coming with another lesson through the Spirit. Lord willing, this be edifying to the Lord's elect. Before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto our power Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Ruchak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who teach well. Shalom to the Akim out there that's pushing the truth, is laboring in the word, and is pushing the gospel of the great kingdom, that's soon to come. Shalom to the Akwath that's listening in, that's remaining true to the faith and remaining faithful and submissive to their husbands and guiding their children. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the 12 tribes that scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth, to you Israelite foreigners out there who live among the heathen, and who look like those heathen nations. But your lineage goes back to the progenitors of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. All right, the nation of Israel through the line of your fathers. I want to say peace and blessings to you all. Barakatham. And this is pretty much going to be a land back. I was listening to the beloved priest, Kwarwa Abad. And, he's one of the brothers out of Houston, Texas. And, as I was listening to his lesson, just the spirit sparked in within me. I got to do this lesson, just getting ready to head to the gym. But the spirit jumped on me hard, so I got to get this going now. So he's right here, he's doing pretty much a recap. He's doing a land back off of Elder Apostle Tahar's video as he was going into this heathen, all right, what appears to be a heathen, going into how Deuteronomy 28 verse 68 does not apply to anybody in the real world, much less you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians. All right. But, so essentially this is going to be a land back off of a land back. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to let this play for a couple minutes here. I may interject. The Spirit's going to do what the Spirit does. I'm going to let the Spirit roll on this one. All right. And see where it goes from there. So let's get this started.
All right. Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem Rachak Wadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing this word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And it's the brother Kwarwa Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And I want to go into another lesson that Lord willing do be edifying. And I watched this video you see on the screen from the Apostle Tahar a couple of days ago. Whenever he put it out, it says 8 days ago. And, this topic was still on my spirit of what I was thinking about while I was watching the video. And it's to the fact how you had this white woman. I'm going to play it in a few, but you had this so-called white woman, an Edomite. She was saying how Deuteronomy 28, specifically verse 68 about the slave ships, that ain't talking about you niggas. That's pretty much what she's saying, right? She's saying, yeah, I know it sounds like it's talking about y'all, but that ain't talking about y'all. And you can't just insert yourself into the Bible, right? But the thing is, no, that's exactly what we're supposed to do. When you consider Deuteronomy 28, especially even that chapter, it said that those curses will be upon the nation of Israel for a sign and for a wonder, a witness against us and our seed forever, man. So the point is...
Right. And, I'm going to get that right here. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 46. All right, let's start at verse 45. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 45. It reads, Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy power to keep his commandments and his statutes with which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. All right. So this is something that was going to be attached to the children of Israel. All right. Wouldn't go anywhere. And all of these, all of these curses, one after another, they would compound each other. Okay. And they would stick to all 12 of the tribes. You see what I'm saying? All 12 of the tribes. Some more profound than others, but all of them would be affected by these curses. Okay, to the point where we have lost who we were. All right, or let's not even do that. Let's just say to the point where the Israelites, all right, as is prophesied, would forget who they were. All right. Throughout this ordeal, throughout the years, throughout the ages, they would eventually fall away. Okay? And what would end up being the result of that is, after losing their identity, okay, in the very end, they would come to understand who they are and remember who they are. Okay? All of this is prophesied. So let me go here to the book of Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. You see what I'm saying? This is what was prophesied to happen to the children of Israel. All right? And it would be stuck upon them to the very end. Okay? And many people can attest to the fact that we are at the end of these we're at the end of this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so let's let the priest continue on.
In the latter days, as the Israelites have been scattered, we should be able to look out into the world and see what people are going through these things that it said the Israelites will go through. And that will be a key indicator on who the biblical Israelites are in these days, man. But we can't do that, right? But things that it said the Israelites will go through. And that will be a key indicator on who the biblical Israelites are in these days, man.
Okay, so what the name of the lesson here is, ChatGPT says the only people on earth who fit the biblical Israelites are so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians. All right? Are blacks, Hispanics, and natives. Okay, so you can watch this video. Okay? GMS Spiritual Temple 2. Subscribe and be edified, man. All right, continuing on.
But according to this white woman, you can't do that. Right? But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play this video because I had asked ChatGPT, I think it was about 8 days ago, right? Concerning this lesson. But I asked it, what people on earth fit the curses of the biblical Israelites? Like, what people went through these things? And then it was funny because it gave me a list. Mainly, it mentioned so-called black people, but then it also threw in the small hats. Well, they've been through oppression too, right? They've been scattered and dispersed and kicked out of lands too. So my next question was, I said, okay, that's fine. I'm going to read the ChatGPT log here in a few after I play this video. I said, okay, that's fine. But what people on earth not only fit the curses, of the Israelites and what they've been through, but also fit the prophecies of the Israelites that they will be scattered to the four corners and wake up in captivity, remembering that they are Israelites. And the conclusion of the matter is, ChatGPT could no longer say, well, the small has two, because they don't fulfill waking up in captivity.
Exactly. They don't fulfill any of that. Okay? They do not fit those prophecies. So when you go to Google and you type in slavery, all right, you go to the images, you tell me what you see. You see what I'm saying? You tell me what you see. All right? We didn't see these Amalekites, you know what I'm saying, these tiny tops, these small hats. We don't see them dangling from trees. You see what I'm saying? We don't see that. We don't see them being ripped apart by dogs. All right? And being burned and tormented in front of a crowd of thousands. We didn't see that happening with them. Okay? You got to ask the question, why are these jokers now trying to hide all that evidence? Why are they hiding all that history? All the things that was done. Why are they doing that? You see what I'm saying? It's because they know that we're about to be found in their hands. Okay? We are about to be found in their hands. In the same way that the Lord judged Egypt for what the Pharaoh had did to the children of Israel, what the Egyptians did to the children of Israel back in antiquity, the same thing is going to happen in this Egypt, this place which is spiritually Sodom and Egypt, all right, which is known for the oppression of a particular group of people. Okay, let's continue.
Knowing the Israelites, you see. Yeah, you may try to, engineer a crisis to make it seem like you are being oppressed like the Israelites. Yeah, it may have been other nations throughout world history that have been somewhat oppressed. But as far as the biblical Israelites go and how to identify them, these would be the people on earth today that fit not only the curses, but also the prophecies of the Israelites waking up in captivity, remembering who they are. And when I asked ChatGPT that, the conclusion of the matter was the only people that fit that is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. These are your Israelites. We are the Israelites, man. Let's go ahead and play this video.
Panel talking about the truth. That's not their job. So we don't recognize these women.
Right. Nice to be with you ladies again.
Ain't nice. It's never nice with you devils. Nice to be with you ladies again.
My prompt is that Deuteronomy 28 is not about the transatlantic slave trade. The reason I picked this prompt is because I hear very often from people who are claiming to be true Israelites that the reason that they find their identity as a true Israelite is because they identify with the curses in Deuteronomy 28. The reason I see that as problematic is because as much as I value going into scripture, and very often we could even relate to some of the characters in the Bible and say, oh, I relate to what's happening here. We're never supposed to read ourselves into the text. When they say, this sounds like me.
How do you know that you're an Israelite? How do you know that you're an Israelite if you don't read yourself into the text? Because this truth is given to the Israelites, not to anybody.
Right. And again, the Lord, you got to think about it. What you mean we can't put ourselves in the text? And you know what's so funny? Man, this how you know these people, like it hurt them to admit that we are the very people.
Absolutely, brother. You know what I'm saying? The reason why they're bringing out Deuteronomy chapter 26, specifically the 68th chapter, all right, the reason why they're doing all this now is because there's no other way for them to combat this truth. They can't, they keep coming up to the camps, you know what I'm saying? They keep coming up to the camp and harassing us, asking us all these different questions, the same questions that we've already dealt with hundreds of times already. Okay, they're running out of steam, and they're also running out of relevance. You see what I'm saying? They're no longer relevant. People are not looking to them for answers anymore because they don't know prophecy. They don't understand prophecy. All those years that they spent inside those seminaries, those Christian seminaries, those Bible seminaries, and they haven't learned a damn thing. They don't know anything concerning prophecy at all. You see? And as I brought out a couple days ago, you know what I'm saying? The problem is when you misidentify what these scriptures, who these scriptures are talking about, when you misidentify them, if you get the people wrong, then you get prophecy wrong. You see what I'm saying? But if you get the people correct, then you get all the prophecies concerning them correct. You see? Because there has to be. She's talking about you can't read yourself into the text. But what does the scriptures tell the Israelites to do? Let's go to that. All right. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7. It reads, "Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee. Thy elders, and they will tell thee." You see what I'm saying? In other words, we have to go into these scriptures and go into the Chronicles and look at all of these things that happened, that was prophesied to happen, and that have come to pass. And as we can see, as we're living in these days, in these last days, how does that apply? You see what I'm saying? How does that apply? Everyone can clearly see, oh man, there's earthquakes everywhere, just like what the Bible says. Look at all these lunar eclipse, solar eclipse. Okay, we got another blood moon coming, planetary alignments, all these different things, man. On biblical proportions, look at all this stuff, swarms everywhere. All right, famine, floods, they can see all of that. But unless they can accurately identify who the children of Israel are, they will never understand what prophecy is talking about, because all of these things on biblical proportions that everyone can identify as happening, it is all happening for the sake of this mysterious people that nobody seems to want to admit to. Nobody wants to admit to who these people are. They are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians, and those of the scattered elect who have been scattered around the entire world, whose father's lineage goes back to these people. You understand? You have to be able, the Israelites have to be able to read themselves in the text, because the text is talking about them. You see what I'm saying? From Genesis to Revelation, this whole thing is talking about this particular people, the Israelites. Let's go to the book of Baruch. You see what I'm saying? This is what these Edomites cannot, they cannot allow. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. You got to think about this, man. You got to think about this shit. During slavery, y'all was not allowed to read. If you was caught reading, you would be amputated. You see what I'm saying? You would lose something. You would lose a finger, you would lose an arm, whatever the case may be. You're going to lose something if you got caught reading. But if you got caught reading that Bible, though, that's death. If you got caught reading that Bible, though, that is death. Why is that? Why was that the case? Why was that the punishment? You see what I'm saying? Why was that the ultimate penalty? Let's go to the book of Baruch. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 1 and verse 19. Let's start at verse 7. Let's start at verse... All right, let's start at verse 15. It says, and ye shall say, to the Lord our power belongeth righteousness, but unto us the confusion of faces, as it is come to pass this day unto them of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Both the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom had to undergo this punishment. Verse 16, and to our kings and to our princes and to our priests and to our prophets and to our fathers. For we have sinned before the Lord power, and disobeyed him, and have not hearkened unto the voice of the Lord our power to walk in the commandments that he gave us openly. Since the day that the Lord Yahweh brought our forefathers out of the land of Egypt unto this present day, we have been disobedient unto the Lord our power, and we have been negligent in not hearing his voice. So if you're not supposed to read yourself into that text, well, then how do you know what this is talking about? You see what I'm saying? How do you know what this is pertaining to? Who is pertaining to? You see what I'm saying? One of the stereotypes that's on so-called black people. All right, when you go into all these comments and you got these racists and whatnot, they get into the comments and all they say is, oh, they don't have any fathers. They don't have their fathers. Do you know your father? Where's your father? What's his name? You see what I'm saying? Why do you think that is? You see what I'm saying? Why do you think that is? But we're not supposed to read ourselves into the text. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 56. Salakia. Deuteronomy 28 and 56. It reads, the tender and delicate woman among you. Oh, Salakia. Let's go 54. Deuteronomy 28 and 54. So that the man that is tender among you, and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. You see what I'm saying? That's talking about fatherless homes. That's talking about broken families. All right. Read on down to verse 56. You know what I'm saying? As I was about to read earlier, it goes into the women. You see what I'm saying? That their eyes would be evil towards the husband of their bosom. I don't need no man, you know what I'm saying? Free, fuck nigga free, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Where my scamming ass niggas at? All that type of stuff, man. It's right here. It's right here. Because you can't say that this applies to these Amalekites, to these small hats. You can't say that applies to them. Not only do they know their fathers, but they get free money. They get free money. Their women are given money for simply having children. They know their fathers. They have substance. They don't go without. They have businesses. They own stores. They own entire blocks. They own convenience centers. They own all these things, man. They own the porn industry. They own the Hollywood. They own all of this stuff. The gaming industry. They own all of this. They own all of it. But they own all these things, man. They own Silicon Valley, man. They own Pornhub. They own all this stuff. They own the sports industry. They own it all. You see what I'm saying? How do they fit this precept right here? Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 17. It says, cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. You see what I'm saying? Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Right? So if they own everything, then clearly they're not hurting for business. They're not hurting for business. right? So, continuing, let's go back to Baruch. Baruch chapter 4. All right, as she said, you're not supposed to read yourself into the text. This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Turn thee, O Jacob. Who is this talking about? O Jacob. What does that mean? When it says, O Jacob, it's talking about the sons and daughters of Jacob. Not Abraham, Jacob. You see what I'm saying? Because everybody likes to hijack Abraham. No, it's going into a specific lineage, pinpointed down to the son Jacob. You see what I'm saying? And from Jacob came the 12 sons of Israel. That's who it's talking about. So if that's who it's talking about, then that means that you have to be able, that the Israelites have to be able to read themselves in this text, in this book.
You know, the niggas, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the downtrodden, it hurt them to admit that. What you mean we can't put ourselves into the text, right? So our people, we have the same characteristics of these people, right? We've been through the same things, especially Deuteronomy 28:68, being sent in captivity on slave ships, being sold to our enemies, right? It was going to be these people that were scattered, forgetting who they are. All these things fit us, but we can't say, man, we those people. But everything else fit us, but we can't say we those people, man. But according to the scriptures, these will be the very signs that the Israelites will find out who they are.
What's one of those signs? Right? What's one of those signs we talking about? When you ask these people, you ask them, what's the number one demographic that's in prison? You can ask this very Edomite who's saying not to read yourself into the text. You ask her, who is overwhelmingly represented in these prisons, man. It's so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics. They'll tell you that. They'll be quick to tell you that. But you're not supposed to read yourself into the text here in Isaiah chapter 42, verse 22, where it reads, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes. They are hid in prison houses. They are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore. Let's go to Lamentations. We're not supposed to read ourselves into this. This is what it is with these Christians, man. Okay? This is what it is with these Christians. This is Lamentations chapter 4, verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. At this very moment, at this very point in time, you have these people over in Gary, Indiana, who have gone without power going on 3 weeks. And it's in this one particular place in Indiana that is heavily populated by so-called Negroes and Hispanics. And that's not suspicious. That's not unusual. All these other spots in Indiana, they got power. You see what I'm saying? But you niggas, you spicks, you ain't getting no power. Lamentations 4:18, it says, they hunt our steps that we cannot go out in our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of heaven. All right. Anybody heard of Carmelo Anthony? Carmelo Anthony. What? After all this evidence that just came out, where the person that he jabbed up was actually an offender. Okay, he was known for bullying. He was known for being racist. You see what I'm saying? Yet they were so quick to give him life. They were so quick to put him in prison. You see what I'm saying? When you look at that one dude, what that was on the island with those Edomites, he ends up unalived. Okay, the judge, which is one of the kids' mothers, the judge just sweeps it under the rug, and then the video surfaces of all these Edomites that was tossing his lifeless body around. You see what I'm saying? Verse 19, our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They lay wait for us in the wilderness. You see what I'm saying? But we're not supposed to read into it. You know what I'm saying? The reason why they're attacking these prophecies, okay, is because they know full well that this fits us and it can fit no one else. It cannot fit anyone else, only but the Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians. They're the only ones that can fit these prophecies, man. As a matter of fact, let's let the brother continue for a little bit more.
Let's play this back again.
Is because I hear.
But hey, if the it was the other way around, man, Esau, he wouldn't have a problem if he would be the Israelites trying to put himself into the scriptures. But because it's us, we can't do that's off limits.
Yeah, you know, and you got to think about it, man. These jokers got some nerve. These Edomites have some nerve. For all these years, after all the robbing, after all the theft, after all the taking of land, okay, after all the colonization, after all the rapes, after all the lynchings, after all the death, after all the madness, after all the madness, what did they do? They read themselves into this text. They said it was manifest destiny. You see what I'm saying? They said that it was manifest destiny. They called you niggas two-fifths of a human. They called y'all 2/5 of a human. And they used the Bible to justify that. They took our scriptures and tried to use it to justify it. As they was whipping you to the bone, they were quoting scriptures. You see what I'm saying? Let's go to Isaiah. Salaki. Let's not Isaiah. Let's go to the book of Psalms. All right, this is Psalms chapter 50. Bear with me, Akim. Bear with me. Oh, now. All right, Psalms chapter 50 and verse 16. It says, "But unto the wicked the Most High saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes? or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instructions, and casteth my words behind thee. You see what I'm saying? This is how these Edomites work. They'll go inside of a courthouse and they'll put their hand on the scriptures and they will swear on it, and then they will lie 5 minutes later. You see what I'm saying? This is how Edom works. They'll make 400 plus treaties with you, and they will break every single last one of them. This is how Edom works. You see what I'm saying? Or you get to go around and you get to colonize, and you get to, at this very moment, they're using scriptures to try and justify genocide. They're trying to justify going into Syria, going into Iran, going into Turkey, Pakistan, what have you, Lebanon. You see what I'm saying? While they oppressed you Jakes, they oppressed you Israelites, man, you so-called Negroes, you West Indians, you Haitians. You see what I'm saying? While they've oppressed you all over in Guatemala, in Uruguay, in Colombia. You see what I'm saying? In Mexico and Cuba, at this very moment, they've got Cuba by a neck lock. You see what I'm saying? Guatemala, Uruguay, you know what I'm saying? Nicaragua. All these places, man. The shit that they did in all these places, man. Laos, Cambodia, all these places. These jokers are wicked, man. And they use the Bible to justify all this. You keep reading the book of Psalms, the 50th chapter, and it tells you, all right, thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself. Okay, they thought that the Lord was like them. No, he's not. No, he's not. All right, you had to play your part. You had to be that demon. You had to be the sword. You had to go around destroying. All right? You had to go and work evil upon your beds. That's what you had to do, man, because that's what you were created to do. You see what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, let me get that in here in Micah. This is Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. And so they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. If that doesn't describe colonization, I don't know what does, man. But you're not supposed to read into the text. You're not supposed to read anybody into the text. We're identifying, this is why they're saying this, because we are capable, the prophets are able to identify the enemy, the Edomites. The prophets are able to identify the Edomites and the Israelites. You see what I'm saying? And the Moabites, and the Ishmaelites, and the Ammonites, and the Hagarenes. You see what I'm saying? We're able to identify, man. And this is where Esau even was having a problem, man, because his power works in secrecy. But since the prophets have come on the scene, beginning with our elders, our apostles, bishops and elders of Great Millstone, you know what I'm saying, and the men that taught them, beginning with them, now the Pandora's box is open. Everybody knows that you Edomites are the ones that are causing the problems in the earth. And specifically, you Amalekites, which are the head tribe of the house of Edom, you're the ones that's leading the charge. You small hats. And at the same time, people are waking up to the truth that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians are the true children of Israel, man. This is the problem that you having, and we're the only ones that fit these scriptures, man, that fit these prophecies. Daniel chapter 9 and verse 11, it says, "Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us." What curses? The curses that I just read. And that's just a few. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of our power, because we have sinned against him. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us. So who's the us? It's the Israelites. Well, how does that apply today? Well, you're not supposed to read into the text. You're not supposed to read yourself into the text. Okay, well, who's the children of Israel then? You see what I'm saying? Because clearly we have a bunch of people who are claiming that. And they're moving around in this earth as if they're the people. You see what I'm saying? But you Christians won't say a word against them. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us, against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem. No other nation can say that they've been dealt with the way a nigger been dealt with. No other people can say that they've been dealt with the same way you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians have been dealt with. You niggas, you spicks, you wetback tontos, and you weren't meant to be anything but that. You were never meant to be anything but that. That's how they oppress a man in his heritage. And they've done so masterfully through their pseudoscience. They've done it masterfully through their media. They've done it masterfully through their propaganda. They've done it masterfully. Like the elder Yashawamba said, the prophets are tearing down billions of dollars worth of strongholds, man. $1 billion strongholds were built, were just destroying it. We're destroying billions of dollars worth of all these lies, man, that they had to maintain for all these years. You see what I'm saying? They had to maintain this lie for a long time. I mean, hundreds of years they have done this. That's why they discredit the Willie Lynch letters, saying that it wasn't a real letter. Well, why is everything that we see around us playing out exactly the same way as that letter describes? To the T. You see what I'm saying? Why are we seeing it? The method is still being played to this very day through the music industry, through the entertainment industry. You see what I'm saying? It's impossible to overlook. You see what I'm saying? But let them tell you, you're not supposed to read into the text, man.
Y'all can't say y'all the Israelites, although y'all fit it. Come on, man.
Very often.
Panel talking about the truth. That's not their job. So we don't recognize these women.
Right. Nice to be with you ladies again.
Hey, nice. It's never nice with you devils. Nice to be with you ladies again.
My prompt is that Deuteronomy 28 is not about the transatlantic slave trade. The reason I picked this...
If it's not about the transatlantic slave trade, Deuteronomy 26:8, then what it's about then? What is it about? And when and where did this scripture, when and where was it fulfilled in world history if it's not the transatlantic slave trade?
Prompt is because I hear very often from people who are claiming...
You see, because where then what is it? if it was not the slave trade, then what was it? Because you don't need a ship to get into Egypt. You don't need a whole vessel to get to Egypt. You see what I'm saying? Egypt was a simple travel. What could be about maybe a week's worth of travel, 2 at the most. You did not need a whole vessel to make it there. You see what I'm saying? No, it's not talking about that. And this is what's wrong with these Christians. They don't understand prophecy. You see what I'm saying? They'll look at a precept in Revelation, all right? They can clearly see that there's a beast system that's in play here. They can see that the beast system is being enacted, all right, that the mark of the beast is here. You see what I'm saying? But they cannot identify the beast itself. They can't identify the progression of the beasts that were spoken of and prophesied in the book of Daniel. They cannot do it. They can't do it. And maybe up to a point, perhaps they could identify the 4 beasts, but they can't identify, or shall I say, they refuse to identify the final beast. You see what I'm saying? The one that comes in the stead of the 4th, as a revival of which they can't do it. They refuse to do it because they know that when you stack everything upon itself, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, and all the behaviors, all the actions, all the philosophies, everything that this mystery Babylon would be a part of, the only place that fits this is America. And they know that's the truth. They know it's the truth, man. They know that all of America's allies are turning against her, as it is written. They know that these men. Listen, let me stop. Let me stop. These jokers ain't slick, man. They're not slick. Okay, but this is another tactic that they use, sending this broad. All right. It's another tactic that they use where they can come sweetly and they can come soft spoken and all that stuff, but they're snakes. They're straight up snakes, man. All right. They pretend like they care when in actual fact, they want you dead, man. They want you niggas out the picture. It's a lot like that movie, it's a lot like the movie Glass. Okay, when you look at the movie Glass, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you see it. You know what I'm saying? Go and watch the movies. All right, start with the movie Unbreakable. All right, then you go to the movie Split, and then you go to the movie Glass. Okay, and Glass is the last one, and in that, it is very profound, and it goes into at the very end of the movie, this woman was an agent the whole time. The whole time, a part of a secret society to ensure that the gods of old are not brought back to the light, and the world sees them again. All right, this is what it's going into, which is a whole nother lesson. I'll get into that another time. But yeah, she's in this woman on the screen is in the same stead. She's in the same stead. Her job, her mission, just like Vocab Malone, their mission is to discredit the prophets. Their mission is to stop the progression of this truth. They're trying to keep the elect from being sealed. You see what I'm saying? So, they know that they're on the ropes, and they got to get this thing. They got to stop this thing from moving forward. All right, because when the elect is sealed, that's when it's time for the Lord to make his move. And they're trying to prolong this. They're trying to keep this from going any further because they know that their time is short. Let's get this in Revelation chapter 12. All right. And I think I'm gonna close it out, man, because it's getting a little lengthy. I didn't want to make it too long. But let's see, Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. And it reads, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." You see? So, that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? It was just a land back on the land back. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is the brothers channel. All right. Brother Kwara Abad, the priest out of Houston, Texas. ChatGPT says the only people on earth who fit the biblical Israelites are blacks, Hispanics, and natives. Again, this is his channel page. GMS, Spiritual Temple 2. Subscribe and be edified. And I pray this lesson was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. This has been your brother Zakaria Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. In closing, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Ruchak, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who teach well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom.